So we did Mishlei 20, chapter 20, pasuk 6 yesterday, and we did come up with a full idea, right? I think so.
We didn't explain each of them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. That's right. Okay. So Rav Adam Yikra Ish Chatzov Ish Amunim Miyamta. So, which I think this is our translation regarding the majority of men. Each man will proclaim his own kindness, but a man of trust, Ish Amunim, who can find. So so our questions were: what is the kindness he is proclaiming? Why is he proclaiming it? How is he proclaiming it? Meaning, in what way? What is an Ish Amunim? Why is he hard to find? Who's looking or finding him, looking for or finding him? Why does it specify Rav Adam? Isn't this all of Sefer Mishlei is the majority of people? What's the relationship between the two halves of the pasuk? Specifically, what's the relationship between the normal Ish and the Ish Emunim? Or what's the relationship between the qualities of Emunim and Yikra Chasto? What, if anything, is bad about Yikra Ish Chasto? And then what is the practical implication of the pasuk? Who's the audience? So anyone want to say what we said yesterday?
Well, people think that proclaiming their chesed is a good way to it's the way to establish a reputation for chesed.
Right.
But really,
which is advantageous because people know you have something that people admire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, but really, a person who doesn't talk want their chesed, is the type of person who gets a reputation for it.
Right. And we said that it's not just that, it's that if you do proclaim your own chesed, that somehow diminishes from the reputation, because part of the admiration of the quality of chesed is that you're doing it in like a without any ulterior motives, and so once you are advertising it, it counteracts it taints the type of reputation that you're trying to get. So it's like self-defeating. So not only is it more effective to just let your actions speak for themselves and word will get around, but it's also counterproductive to try to advertise it.
Yeah, so the audience is a person trying to get a reputation.
Right. Yeah, I think did I come up with the title that reflected that? Yeah, I titled it "How to Earn a Reputation for Chesed." Yeah. Yeah. So now what you said that the thing we didn't explain was Ish Emunim, why it called it that, or why?
We didn't really discuss.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like this should fall into place very nicely, or topple the whole thing. Yeah. Ish Emunim Miyam. So why is it called Ish Emunim? That's the thing. Because really, according to what we're saying, it should be a Ish Chesed. Yeah, exactly, like a true Ish Chesed,
But I think the defining feature of him is that he's genuine. That's the whole.
Okay. And that's so then this is kind of a pasuk where you borrow each half for the other half in a way, meaning that he is
genuine in reference to chesed.
Right, and then the other person is lacking in genuineness in reference to chesed.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So each emunim means a genuine person.
Yeah, it sounds like it, right?
I mean, everyone says that they do chesed.
Yeah.
But finding a true person,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually what Sadigon says, right? Ubal ha'emunim be'emes miyimtza. That's I think that supports what we're saying.
Yeah.
Right, because he's saying because the implication of his. Well, let's read the whole Sadigon. Timsa rovnei adam kol echad mitar chasdei atmo. Each person will describe his own chesed. Ubal ha'emunim be'emes miyimtza. So that makes it sound like the person in the first half is like a counterfeit bal ha'emunim, but a real bal ha'emunim. So I think that's it. Yeah.
Maybe the fact that it's like talking about the quantities of each group of people, because
Okay, we didn't answer that either.
Yeah.
Other than just statistics, yeah.
Right, but I think the because it's so hard to find an emunim and there's so few of them, like most people are going to be deceitful and just want a reputation.
Right.
If you actually are someone who genuinely has chesed, people can see that and they'll appreciate it that much more because there's so few.
Right.
So it's actually because you're so few and far between, it's that much more appreciated.
That's interesting. So then I guess that can translate into another piece of practical advice for the person who's trying to get a reputation of the chesed, that there are tons of people who brag about their chesed, right? And he is tempted to do that because he thinks it's going to work. But not only will it not work as well. Not only will it be counterproductive, but the very fact that he is just doing what a lot of other people do diminishes that quality of the scarcity
Right.
that makes the kiyum of the reputation. Yeah.
Yeah, meaning he's trying to by drawing attention to one facet, you're trying to show that you're like uniquely a better person, but that in fact like shows you to be just like everyone else.
Yeah, that's good. Kind of this is a side point, but it reminds me of so weird how many of my examples not come from high school, but come from writing recommendations. I don't know why, but like one of the questions I hate on there's a joint SEM application, like, if you're applying to, you could apply to all the seminaries with one. One of the questions I hate is like, what leadership qualities does the student show? Not every student like needs to be a leader, and like part of what makes real leadership is that it's a unique quality. So like, if you're just kind of going to force the person to like exemplify like what leadership, I don't know, it cheapens it in a way that I feel like is analogous, not the same thing. It was like analogous to how it cheapens it if you're trying to like proclaim like your chesed,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm small.
No, I have a good observation about Mishlei in general, but
Sure.
I need time to still work out.
Okay.
So
Okay, go ahead.
Is it possible that the audience is someone who's trying to get chesed from someone, and it's warning you like, look, most people are deceitful?
Okay, I think that's definitely an audience. I think the thrust of the idea really does seem to be directed at someone who wants a reputation for chesed. Okay. I think that's the primary one, but an application of the pasuk can definitely be used for how to tell who is truly an ish chesed.
Right.
Well, to expand on what you said.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a person like looking for someone to do chesed. So it's saying, if many people are going to be proclaiming the chesed. Yeah. But it's going to be hard to find someone who's like legitimately in each chesed. Mm-hmm. So so when you're going into your interaction with people, it's like a thing to be wary of. Mm-hmm. Right. I didn't explain it well, but
what are you adding to what he's saying? That's the thing I'm not understanding.
I'm saying it. Yeah. What I was trying to explain was that I think you could read the pasuk as being said to a said to a person looking for chesed. Mm-hmm. Right. I didn't do it. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but do you agree with what I'm saying? That it sounds like the way we're learning, it sounds like the thrust of the idea is for someone who is trying to get a reputation, or do you think it's even possibilities?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's. Yeah, it seems even.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it makes more sense to say that it's talking to someone who's trying to get a reputation for chesed, and not that, because even though that makes sense, but like practically speaking, if you're on the receiving end of chesed, like you're on the receiving end of chesed, meaning like if someone's doing something nice for you, meaning yeah, I guess maybe it could benefit you more if you have someone who's like absolutely genuinely doing it, like totally lishma. But like if somebody is doing something good for you, then like you're gonna gain the benefit of the good that they're doing for you, regardless of if it's lishma or not lishma.
So I take issue with that a little bit, because I think that. Did you want to say?
Well, I guess just to clarify the point is that like it's talking about someone who's like looking for like, who am I going to get chesed from? Like, should I get which charity should I give to get money from?
Mm-hmm. So, right, I think the people that are not doing lishma, they're still doing chesed.
Right, but if you're like basically if you're trying to figure out who's the best person to get money from, and you see all of these people saying, "Oh, I'm a big bal chesed," then you might think, "Oh, I just have a lot of people to pick from. Like I can just pick any of them."
Right.
But like it's saying no, you have to like.
I also wouldn't use money as an example, because I think that with money, then that's true, is that it doesn't matter who it's coming from. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you're looking for an ish chesed, meaning someone who's going to be there for you to help you, and if it's coming from an ulterior motive, then it will actually like affect the quality of the chesed they give you, whether it's in terms of how much they're willing to do, or whether it's in terms of like, are they reliable? Like if they're only doing it for a personal gain, and then they realize that there is no personal gain to be gained from doing chesed for you, then they're just going to stop. you know,
Mhm.
or if their own emotions are getting involved in a way where like, you know, their ego is involved. So like they might do it in a way that's not good for you. It's really good for them,
Mhm.
you know? So I do think it's important to, if you're looking for that kind of chesed, you know, yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the argument to say that it's talking about a person who's looking for chesed is the miyimtza, you know? But in the same way you can say that the reason why Shlomo says Eishes Chayil in the end is, I mean, yeah, on the one hand, it's for someone who's looking for an Eishes Chayil, but really it's how to be an Eishes Chayil, you know? And saying miyimtza is an idea about like how rare the Eishes Chayil is, and that's part of the idea of what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not saying that it has to be primarily for this, but I think maybe the thing that's making me think this also, which doesn't counter what we're saying, is maybe because the Ish Chesed is not a Mishlei personality type. No, that could go both ways. I'll just say it out anyway. Since the Chassid is not a Mishlei personality type, I liked the idea that this was talking about how to become an Ish Chesed, but in a Mishlei motive way. You know,
Right.
I think that's what appeals to me. But maybe the appeal to me is causing me to weight that interpretation more. Yeah, and it's the same idea. It's just two different applications.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And I think Sadio was saying that it's a kimsa, like lends itself to both.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Is it done baking?
Is it? Yeah. Well, the first is just expand on what.
Yeah.
Just to refine what the idea. I think the practical lesson is when you want chesed, the person to look for is not A, B, C, D, or E. You know, it's someone who isn't listing themselves.
Right. Yeah, you're not gonna find them in the phone book. Yeah.
So my statement about Mishlei is I feel like a lot of Mishlei to him are like they share a lot of qualities with like really clever jokes where it's like self-referential or like layered in a way that like grabs the mind. Which I mean, you know, that's why Shlomo,
Yeah.
but like yeah, it was just like something that was like, you know, that by like trying to do the thing, then you're gonna not.
Yeah, I mean that's
so
Mishlei irony. That was
Yeah.
what Ken called it. I call it Mishlei Mida Connected Mida, but Ken called it Mishlei irony. So yeah, that's definitely a phenomenon.
Yeah.
But that's a testament, not that he needs my praise, but that's a testament to how God built the world. That like that's why we call consequences mutar Hashem, because like he constructed the world in such a way where the very thing that you're trying to get through foolish or wicked means you won't get. And that points you to the fact that, you know, and that points you to how to do it through chachma and tzedek, you know, like imagine how destructive it would be. I mean, I know that this is like a, you know, this is kind of a different point, but like imagine how destructive it would be if like the Rishayim and the fools could get what they wanted through wicked or foolish means. So what would happen is it would just reinforce all of their distorted ideas about how they live. It'd be like if the body were rewired to, instead of feeling pain when you injured yourself, if you felt pleasure, you would just destroy your body. You know, like it's going to be bad. So like it's chesed Hashem that he set up the world in a way where if you try to obtain something from the world through foolish or wicked means, it will fail. And that, now you can be in denial about that, you know, and you can like, you know, rationalize in all sorts of ways, but like, you know, the world is set up to teach you those lessons if your mind is open to it, you know? Yeah.
So it's not always that way, is it? Like, it doesn't, like, Rishon do achieve their goals sometimes.
So statistically, it's that way. And ultimately, it's going to be that way. It has to be that way ultimately. I mean, you could die before you get the consequences. That does happen to some Rishayim, you know, is like they you know, they build an empire off of wickedness and then they die in their opulent golden bed, you know. But that's not an indictment of the theory. That's just like they died, you know.
But they didn't get consequences.
Yeah, they didn't, but that's not because of a fault in the world. That's just because of how they
well,
you know, like
I'm not saying it's a fault
they got
or not.
right. They got like lucky, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Is
Yeah.
You could avoid the consequences.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, right. That just doesn't mean it. But I think that that's the type of thinking that the fool latches onto and then makes into a rationalization. You know, like that. The best way to say it is like, yeah, just because, you know, just because there are people who swim with sharks. Oh, I saw a story about. Do you know what? Okay, I grew up with these things. Do you know what a Portuguese man of war is?
No.
Okay, so let me tell you the lesson. Okay, if you ever are on the beach in, I know it's in Hawaii. I'm pretty sure it's probably in a lot of Caribbean places. You see a like blue thing, don't touch it. Okay, like a blue creature on the ground. So Portuguese man of war. I mean, I was grown up. I grew up being warned against this from the time I was like a little kid. Is like, stay away from Portuguese man of war. And so I found, man of war is a type of jellyfish. Yeah, man of war. Yeah, it comes from man of war, but I think it's man of war.
What
Yeah.
happens if you touch it?
So it is one of the most poison jellyfish in the world. Each one has like, it says like it can, I think if you get stung by it, it's enough venom to kill like 26 adults like instantaneously or something like that.
Oh,
So this, I saw this article. I don't know where I saw this posted. Oh, I think it was on IFL Science. But this TikToker who was like vacationing in some place, like this like teenager, I guess, or 20. I don't know, he was a teenager, 20s, like found a Portuguese man war and like didn't know what it was, picked it up and licked it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did he die?
No, so it didn't sting him. He licked the head of it and I guess didn't touch the stingers. And like, now, so here's the thing. He got lucky.
Right.
But the advice of don't touch a Portuguese man or you'll get killed is still good advice.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I think also like let's say like a Russia who like builds his empire or
Yeah.
whatever and then like dies in his prime, like just because he avoided the consequences doesn't mean in any way that he was like actually living
Yes.
ideally.
That's another point, right?
Like he might have felt like he was, but he wasn't. Like,
Right.
he was missing out on a lot.
Yeah, and that's really what I don't know if to call it foreshadowing because I don't know if this is actually going to come true, but I feel like that's what we're going to learn in Tehillim tonight.
Mhm.
That the Russia is not actually happy, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, and I think that's a general point to make, which is that Mishlei is dealing in the framework of consequences from the laws of nature. Koheles will deal with the fact that he's not really happy. Tehillim will deal with the fact that his place in the world and his relationship with God is messed up. There's metaphysics in terms of his olam haba. There are other frameworks of consequences, and Mishlei is just dealing with one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Were you saying something? No, just scratching the old head, the old noggin. Yeah. Okay. All right. So should we look at meforshim now?
Mhm.
Okay.
Don't rub it more enough.
A lot of people lost a lot of hair with that method. Okay. All right. So let us. Okay. So I wanted to do a separate. What do they call? What's the name for? You ever seen like the tier rankings of like S and then A B C D, like S tier rankings?
I think those are just rank.
Just rank? Okay, yeah, I don't know if they had a special name. Yeah, I've been meaning all year. I think I've said this before. I wanted to do a video of like Mishlei meforshim rankings. 'Cause I think it would be instructive for like why I have my own hierarchy and like why I think that these are better than those.
Wait, don't you have that already? Oh no, that's
The spectrum.
the spectrum.
Yeah.
I was thinking there's something like
Yeah.
The first place where that ranking system is going in my mind is going to like Naruto.
Yeah.
That's the only place I'm seeing like S and then A. Like, why is it A? Like the
Well, isn't that Dragon Ball Z?
It's also that.
I think I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, but I've heard that the F, Yeah.
In some other ranking thing that I know.
Yeah.
S is above A.
Yeah, right, yeah. Anyway, so because this is the first time we're doing this unprepared, so just a quick walkthrough of my my S tiered rank is my go-to is always Metzudas David, Rabbeinu Yonah, Meiri. Okay, and for three different reasons. In that order, yeah, and does not mean that Metzudas David is the best. Okay, the best is the Meiri, in my opinion. Okay, but the reason why I go in that direction is because Metzudas, I like to start off with a minimalist meforshim. So Metzudas David is the most minimalist of the actual meforshim, in the sense that giving you a full idea in fewest words possible. So I like starting with him. Also, his interpretations tend to be close to the pshat. Rabbeinu Yonah, I like going to. So Rabbeinu Yonah and Meiri are kind of tied in a way because the advantage of Rabbeinu Yonah is when he chooses, when he's in the mood to spell out his ideas, they are much, much clearer and more psychologically oriented than the Meiri. But Meiri's ideas have a much more flavor in terms of the way I like to learn Mishlei, which is practical ideas. And as I'm going to pause this for a second.
What about Rasadigon? Is he not? Like,
so here's the weird thing about Sadigon. Okay, so my whole approach is based on Sadigon's intro to Mishlei. His actual commentary is very hard because many times all he does, I feel like we did this in a Monday night.
There was some
Yeah, it was a Monday night because I was on Zoom, I remember. So he just will give examples from Tanakh, which are very good if you know all those stories.
Right.
You know, but otherwise, like, it's not. And then the other thing also about Sadigon is he will his interpretations it's not always so clear how they line up with his translations. So that's a little frustrating sometimes. And then he's also sometimes very sparse and sometimes very detailed. Also sometimes very, like, if you've ever learned Amudas Videos, there's a certain, like, hold on, pause recording. And the other thing also is that, you know, I like learning, I'm not opposed to learning Mishlei about Olam Haba, but I like, for example, how, let's say, the Meiri, in his Derech Nigla, will talk about the purely practical, this world stuff. And then Derech Nister is talking about Chachma development in Olam Haba. A lot of Sadigon's arguments, or a lot of Sadigon's interpretations do just come down to Olam Haba. And I think it's not, again, it's not that I'm opposed to it, it's that that's not right now what I'm trying to get out of Mishlei. I'm just trying to figure out how to live. Like, you know, like I'll worry about Olam Haba later, especially because learning how to live is prior to like getting Olam Haba. So like, why am I going to like focus on, you know, it'd be like, to use the Rambam's analogy, or the analogy that Meiri quoted last week about the preparing food when you're on dry land so that you can have food to eat when you're at sea. It'd be like if I was so preoccupied with like preparing to stock up my ship that I starved to death on dry land. You know, like I gotta eat. Like I gotta make sure I get all my meals, like, you know, while I'm on dry land, so that I can have the fortitude and, you know, and life to be able to prepare for sea. You know, so it's like, it's just, I'm not always interested in Sadigon's interpretation. So this is why I have to make a video about this. Like, you know, I've got I've got opinions. Okay.
Have you ever had
There's not on that cool ranking system, yeah.
Have you ever had someone like comment like, why is he pausing? Like, you know.
No, but I bet they wonder, and that's the price that you pay for not coming in person. Yeah.
If they were to ask you, like, what did you say?
Yeah, well, it depends on who they are.
Ask them privately? Or would you tell them privately?
It depends on who it is. Depends on who it is, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had that where I'm like listening to recording and pause recording. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
I know.
One of these days when someone asks, you have to tag me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do Metzudas David. And again, I have not read these yet. Yeah.
Where would you rank
You know the answer. Yeah. Okay. Metzudas David. Vav. Rov b'nei Adam, Yachriz. And just comment. Some rank. I rank, just because I rank them low does not mean that I think that they're bad commentaries. Like, I rank the Malbim very low in C, not because he's a bad commentary, but because he gives great ideas. But I disagree with his methodological premises that every single word matters. And I also think he's horrendous if you're trying to teach someone how to learn Mishlei. Because the whole thing of teaching them how to learn Mishlei, if you tried to implement his method, you could not do it unless you knew all of Hebrew and knew all the nuanced differences between all the synonyms. So he's fostering a dependent relationship on him as a commentator, you know, unless you are another Malbim like Rav Hirsch is, you know. So I rank him as a C because his ideas are great, but he's not useful for my purposes in Mishlei, which I want to learn Mishlei. I want to teach people how to learn Mishlei. So like, it's not indicative of the fact that he is, so that's why, let's say with Rashi, you know, like my low ranking of Rashi is not based on is not a value judgment about his ideas. It's that I practically, at this point in my development, have no use for Rashi, both because of his method and what he holds Mishlei is about, and the accessibility of both.
So,
I really need to make this video.
for the analogy of Mishlei being golden apples and silver casings.
Yeah.
He, I think he said this at one point. we said Rocky is like going for like the golden apple.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And like because you're teaching how to learn with silver casing,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Rashi's silver casing interpretations are good, and I do like those. I'll use those. We did that with when we did the pasuk about Sonim Matanos Yefya, right, with Zach. And then the other thing also is Meiri gives you both the golden and silver apples, and that's also why I like him. And the only downside of the Meiri, and it's not even a downside. This is like a privileged, spoiled kid complaining type downside, is he gives you too much. So sometimes it can be a little tedious to wade through, but he'll give you everything. That's why I think he's the best starter commentary, and he comments on every pasuk. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's do Metzudas David. Rov b'nei Adam yachriz kol ish hachesed she'oseh im habriot. So the majority of people, each one will declare the chesed that he does with people. V'yispar b'zeh, and he'll glorify himself with this. Aval yimsa b'hem ish emunim ki ravim yishakeru. Who will find a trustworthy man, because many of them lie. So that's different than what we said. Yes, because we.
Well, we were saying the exact.
Like they just have alternative motives, but
Yeah,
not outright lying.
Right. We weren't even at the very beginning. We were saying they exaggerate, but I think we shifted to more like they'll advertise. In other words, they're not. I don't think at any point I was saying that they were lying about what they did. And the exaggeration doesn't even matter. It's the fact that they're trying to call attention to it. So it's a false representation of how much they have internalized the quality of chesed. I wouldn't call that a lie necessarily. It's not sheker. It is sheker, but they're not.
True.
Are they saying something that's not true?
Quantitatively not true. So
I think the implication, what?
Quantitatively untrue. So
Yes, it is quantitatively untrue, but is that a lie? Like,
well, it's exaggerated.
Let's say a person says I give X amount of money to charity every year. Nothing in that statement is false, right?
Yeah, right.
And the only thing is he is putting that forth with the implication that I am a very kind person. So I think if you're going to define that as a lie, you really would have to define almost all human statements as lies. Like anything you say about yourself is a lie. If there's anything at all about trying to represent yourself in a certain way, but I wouldn't call it a lie. I think when he says lie, he means like actually lying about it.
You're saying it implies something like about them, which is not true, but it's not like a lie.
Yeah. That's like a very machmir definition of lying.
Right. So it's like, is that like one of the white lies?
No, the way people use a white lie is you actually are distorting the truth, but for a good purpose.
Oh yeah.
That's what a white lie is.
Okay. So
like telling the Kala that she looks beautiful when she's not. For shalom.
That's a white lie.
That's a white lie. Yeah. Or saying I really want to get together next time, like you're in town. Not.
I never seen a lie.
But for a good purpose.
I mean, it is a lie.
It is a lie, yeah, but it's white.
Yeah.
No one calls it a white truth. It's a white lie. It's a lie, but it's white. Yeah.
White just means like it's for the good purpose.
No, it's for a good purpose.
For a good purpose.
Yeah.
And people definitely justify things as white lies when really.
Yeah, I'm not saying that all white lies are justified. I'm just saying what people call a white lie.
Yeah.
How do they get the term like white lie?
Because most lies are black.
What?
Meaning that black is associated with evil, like throughout history, and so like white is associated with purity, unless you're in Japan where white represents death, right? Carnations are the thing, yeah. Or is it carnation? I don't know what it is. Yeah. But in Western society, of the colors, black is the evil color, white is the good. Cowboys, right? Cowboys always wore white hats. The good ones. The bad cowboys wore black hats.
And the evil ones wore black hats.
Yeah.
That's actually good. I know.
Yeah, that was always my.
It's an easy way to distinguish themselves.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. That was a good allusion to a joke, though, right? Yeah. All right, go on.
What?
All right, I'll explain it later. Yeah.
I'm getting a white hat.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Oh yeah. I think we maybe like each had like somewhat different ideas of what we're talking about when we're saying is cleaning their chesed. I would say I was thinking that the person saying that they are in each chesed.
Right, but that's not what they literally say.
Well,
They-
no,
they-
that's what I was thinking that they were.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking that they're talking about their chesed.
Yeah. I feel like.
And I feel like that fits in better with the words chasdo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
feel like there's like a few different possibilities.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
when they talk about their good actions
Right.
that they did, their good actions that they didn't do.
Yeah,
Their qualities that they have, which they don't,
right,
or the qualities that they know they don't have.
right.
Yeah.
Also, or the actions that were not chesed, they were good actions, but they weren't chesed, but then they frame them as chesed,
Yeah,
That's a little bit more of a lie.
yeah, yeah.
But you don't need to be verbally lying in order to do that,
Yeah.
Wait,
Like
what's that?
let's say for like meaning like let's say for example let's say Jewish high schools around here have certain requirements for like some sort of community service. Like let's say you tell someone that like you tutored underprivileged kids in high school. Now you actually did that because you were required to do so by your school's thing, but you're saying it in order to show that it was a chesed that you did.
Yeah.
That's close to a lie,
Yeah.
but you're not overtly lying. Like you didn't say like I did this purely out of goodness of my heart.
Right.
You're just saying like I did this.
Fine.
You're implying it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're letting them draw the conclusions.
Yeah. You're is the term lying by implication?
Line by white implication. No. By omission. Yeah. That in some cases that could be a line by omission. Yeah. Depends on how you do it. Yeah.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah. Also, like there's like Torah categories, and there's like English categories. And
Yeah.
hard to, like,
Yeah. So anyway, it sounds like Metzudas David, just to take him at face value, he is saying that people will say that they did chesed when they really didn't, right? And so this feels like a different subject and a different idea than what we were learning the pasuk as.
But I feel like this works better with saying that the pasuk is speaking to a person who's trying to find somebody to do chesed for them.
It's a real warning.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
warning,
Yeah.
like these people are going to say they're
Yeah,
doing chesed, but
100%.
they're not really, and like you need to find the few and far between guys who are like actually doing it genuinely, and that's
Yeah. This is like the this is an application of the English proverb of if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. And like with people, right? Like you'll find people who are like, volunteering to do so much stuff, or like I've helped so many people in this way before, like. Oh, really? Like you should have. In other words, it is warning you that you should be aware that people tend to do this, and be on guard when you see someone saying this to like to verify. Yeah, I'm not in the mood, by the way, to go delve into depth into this interpretation. I just wanted to try to see what is the difference.
I'm just not sure that's true. Like, I would say that I see saying that there's some people out there who like completely make up things that they do, but like. Most people, why? About like what? I don't know.
Well, it sounds like. Hold on. Rovne Adam Yachris Ko Ish HaChesed. It's possible there are three categories here. Okay. One possibility is the first half is talking about what we said, which is that it's talking about people who actually do chesed, but they glorify themselves about it. And then that same quality of wanting glory for chesed that is unearned will cause Rabin Mehem to lie about chesed that they did. Rabin and Rov are not necessarily the same thing.
It's many.
Many, yeah. And then there's the Ishimunim who actually does chesed the way he says.
Oh, so meaning there's a significant contingent of the people who are seeking reputation of being chesed.
Yeah.
Many of them will fabricate things.
Right. Yeah. And I'll give you an example of this just to show you how many there are in a way that you don't think of as being anywhere in this realm. Is think of all of the junk mail and scams on text and all this other stuff. Almost all of them are phrased in terms of chesed. Like we could just do this thing for you for free, and they're just trying to scam you, and that's not. We see a portion of it through internet and text and ads and stuff. Ads. I mean, so like maybe on the day to day you're not interacting with people who are doing this, but in terms of like the people out there who are trying to scam other people.
Right. But I don't know if that necessarily falls into this category, because they're not like trying to like they're just trying to scam you. They're not trying to
But they're promising.
scam you. Like it's just
They're promising chesed. They're promising free things.
They're not telling you they're scamming.
Yeah.
I understand, but I'm saying like the person, they're not trying to get a reputation of doing good things. Like they're just trying to scam you, and like
Right.
the means to the ends is just like, oh, if I promise this person good things, then I'll be able to reel them in and scam it. It's not like they're trying to gain a reputation because it's good for them that like people think they do chesed.
No, not like what we said before. We're not. This is not having to do with getting a good reputation.
Okay.
The Metzudas David is not talking about that.
Oh yeah.
That was our idea.
Okay,
Right?
right.
This is warning you about people who are promising to give you good things for free.
Okay.
You know.
Wait, doesn't he say it's far?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true for the first half, right? But then, according to what I'm saying, then these scammers are not in the first half,
It's a totally
right? It's
different
the checker ones,
Uh,
right? The scammers are the checker people.
And they're like their own category. We're not talking about how they want to like be perceived.
Right,
like,
meaning-
if they
meaning
want to
so-
go up. It's just the just general underlying bad intention.
Right. I mean, these are two categories of people who will advertise their chesed. There are people who advertise it in order to glorify themselves, and there are people who advertise it for some other motive,
Right.
which
To
is not
really like
actually,
something.
yeah, not to make themselves look, not to take the chesed qualities they have and amplify them, but to lie
Just
for
to
some other
gain
thing.
for
Yeah.
their own
Yeah. And
purpose.
again, this is the opening paragraph. Sorry, not the opening paragraph. This is the opening muffle in Mishlei. That's exactly what the guys say in the gang.
right.
Yeah, right. Is
Right.
they say so he warns his Shlomo warns his son, my child, if sinners seduce you, do not be enticed. If they say, come with us, let us wait in ambush for bloodshed, let us lurk for an innocent one without cause, like the grave, let us swallow them alive whole, like those descend to the pit. All precious wealth is found with them. We will fill our houses with booty. Cast your lot among us. There will be one pouch for all of us. But really, they're going to be taking advantage of you and using you and putting you, leaving you for, for dead or for cops or whatever, like but it's all promising. You're going to become wealthy with us. We're gonna like take you in and
Right.
yeah.
I have another case of people lying.
Yeah.
Which is, I think sometimes people will, I think there's like types of people who will be like, oh, I wanted to do chesed, or I'm like planning on it, and then they'll talk about it as if they already did it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And
Yeah, I think that is more. So would you put them first or the second category?
that's the second category.
Second, because it's a lie. They're not going to do it,
They're
right?
completely lying about
Yeah.
having done chesed, but
Right.
because they think of themselves as person who does something for others, or an activist
Right.
or something, then they'll put themselves forward as that because that's how they think.
Yeah, when that's really destructive, and I don't know actual numbers, but I've heard that this is the case. Let's say with shuls and schools and stuff, when they'll get people to make commitment. Let's take in a shul, like as an example. I mean, we don't really do this here, but people pledging money on Shabbos, for tzedakah for the shul or whatever. I hear that it can be a big chore to actually follow up on these guys throughout the year to get them to actually pay what they committed, but they get all the glory of saying that, oh, I gave tzedakah, but they didn't actually do it yet, so
Yeah, because I guess a lot of these things, the benefit, when the benefit of it comes before the painful part,
yeah,
then something
It makes it even harder to go through the painful part.
yeah,
There's no benefit on the other side.
Yeah.
It's over.
yeah. Like what you're saying, the person pledges, and that's when they get all the benefit.
Yeah.
And, there's no they're not gonna they don't feel like there's any further benefit.
Right.
When they actually give the money, it has to just be the shmup. There's not.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they got the glory. If they're
Right.
doing it for the glory, then they got the glory. So
Right.
that's it.
Right. And if
Yeah.
you actually wanted to donate, then you got glory, and now just give the money. And
Yeah.
no one's gonna clap for you when you
Yeah,
give the
right.
money. You're just gonna give it, and
Yeah.
then you'll be like, good. That's
Yeah.
what you said.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have 2 minutes left. So let me ask you a question in terms of our new plan here. So we have 3 options. One option is we go through meforshim tomorrow, more meforshim tomorrow. The other option is I look ahead just to see if it's worth it for us to go into meforshim tomorrow, and then we decide, and then I decide. And the third option is just to move on tomorrow, no matter what.
I like the second option.
Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
All right. So let's do that then. All right. Let's stop here for today.
Cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.